Welcome back, pet parent. Today is a little bit different, but stick with me because there is a huge reason for it. Actually, there are a couple of reasons for it. One is that we love all beings, right? We love every single plant, animal on this planet, and we love the planet, and we love even the creepy crawlies that creep us out. I want nothing bad to happen to them. I take the spiders outside just earlier today, the day we're recording this, my brother's cat brought a lizard in the house, and I thought it was dead. When I went to move it, it moved a little bit. I took little Mr. or Mrs. Lizard outside, and I'm hoping for the best. We want all good things. And another really, really unfortunate thing about the world we live in is that there are pests. And what we mean by pests is that just really that we don't want them around. Like they have every right to live, they have every right to be here just as much as we do, but we don't want the diseases that they carry. We don't want the fleas and the ticks that they carry. And I totally get that. I'm right there with you. So, for today's episode, I have David Dorfman here with us today. And David is going to talk to us a little bit about a more holistic approach to certain types of pest control that I think is going to be really interesting. I know when we had our conversation pre podcast, he definitely told me some things that I was like, oh, wow, I actually did not know that. So, welcome, David, to the Pet Parenting Reset. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I see, like, if anybody watching the video sees David's shirt with the big red stop sign that says rodents stop. And when I first got the email from your team, I was like, why in the world do I want to talk to somebody? That was my first thought. I'm like, why? Like, I get it. People don't like pests, but I don't want to do anything that's going to harm any animal. I do I want deterrence? Yes. Do I also understand that like I am just trying to live on this planet just like they are trying to live on this planet? Yeah, like I understand that. So I would love for you to just kind of start out by explaining what it is you do, and then we can kind of get into the why of what you do.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, I want to start off by saying that I'm actually just like you. I don't kill anything. I also take it outside. Like I won't. I seriously, I won't kill a spider. I won't kill anything. And my kids, they're young, and so they see stuff, and they're like, and I'm always telling them, okay, don't kill it. They live here too. Like, and then they're learning. But yeah, I'm totally with you. And that being said. Yes, there's definitely a lot of ways to go about dealing with pests and rodents. There's also a lot of products out there, and unfortunately, the product industry is a great industry, but it doesn't really solve a lot of problems if you're not doing it correctly. Um, and so when it comes to rodents, pests, anything, one thing I can say for sure to start off with is sanitation is the most important thing. If you have a clean environment, most likely you're not going to have any problems. But it's these bad environments that they're attracted to. Um, we specialize in rats and mice. We actually only deal with rats and mice, and they are actually the most not only clever, but the most problematic pest there is. And as a matter of fact, when you look up the word pest, even in the pest control board, you literally, it just basically says anything that annoys you is basically a pest. You
Yeah.
know, um, it could even be, overgrown stuff. Like it's crazy. There's like a lot of definitions for it. But dealing with rats and mice, like I said, it's very important to keep a clean environment. And it actually starts with outside. Like if you have a dog, and I would say, a really big amount of our clients are dog owners, if not most of them. And if not them, then their very next door neighbor of a dog owner. And the problem again is, not picking up the dog feces, regularly. I mean, like every day. Now there's like, this whole thing where the gardener, is doing it once a week, but that's not even close to enough. Just like changing your air conditioner filter needs to be done every 30 days, not every 6 months or a year, especially if you have pets. So these are just very, very minimal, such important maintenance that are important that would really help keep your house, you know, safe from a lot of things, really. Um, as I said about the dog droppings are very important to clean up because like I said, rats and dogs have a lot of similarities. One of the most a magnificent one is their urine. Their urine scent is almost identical, so they're always kind of tricking one another. That's why, like, a dog will bark at the wall, or will scratch, scratch on the floor. These are all things like they'll know that there's a rat problem way before you. So a lot of people don't know. Hey, what's wrong with my dog? He's looking for something. He's hearing something. He's feeling something. They'll tell you first. But like I said, getting rid of the dog droppings is very important. And of course, just regular cleanup maintenance around the property. Rodents, they like I said, they love they get attracted to the dog urine, and then they feed off the dog poop, which is what their source of food, and then they're looking for the actual food itself, which is usually in the pantry, in the garage, and they kind of make their way into the house. As a matter of fact, most people don't even know that they have a rodent problem for 3 months. 3 months they could be undetected, going through walls, crawl space, attic. Nobody knows. Usually after 3 months, people discover droppings in the kitchen because nobody really goes up to the attic or to the crawl space to ever really check anything. Except on Christmas, of course, which is where we get so many calls. As people go get their decorations and then they see that stuff. So Christmas is so crazy busy. But on a regular basis, because their behavior is identical, rats particularly, um, after 3 months, we know that they've already nested, they've had babies, and now they're coming down to the kitchen to look for food for the babies. They're desperate. That's the only reason they'll come into the living area and risk getting caught or whatnot. So after 3 months, that's usually the case. After 6 months, like of ongoing, that's already a different issue. Every 90 days, it gets into a different stage. After 6 months, they're no longer nocturnal. They're very comfortable. You'll see them during the day. Um, and then of course, I always tell dog owners, if you or your next door neighbor has a dog, make sure your house is sealed, because if you don't, 100% rats are gonna come. And the reason I say rats and not mice is because rats are so often confused for like mice, and rats are confused. Like people think that a baby rat is a mouse, and this is so common. But usually the mice don't make a lot of problems. It's really just the rats that can chew through anything, can climb on anything, could swim. I mean, they're just like really, really talented. Um,
I have so many stories. so so many stories, but I want to kind of go back to what you said at the beginning, that the product industry is huge, but it's not really helping. And that is that's kind of the core focus of this podcast in general, is that when we chase symptoms and when we just go after trying to band-aid over symptoms and we're not addressing the root issue, which you've talked about starts outside with clean maintenance around your home, that's that's the key, right? Is actually figuring out the root problem and not just masking the symptoms of the problem. um but oh my god, like I'm just thinking of so many stories. I'm gonna go all the way back to when I was like a little kid in like middle school. I was such a hoarder when I was a kid, and I was in school, so I had tons and tons and tons of paper from, homework projects and all and my closet was full. Like you couldn't get in my closet because it was full. And my mom, bless her heart, made fun of me because I definitely had, and it was a mouse. It was not a rat. I had a mouse that lived in my closet when I was little. And I didn't care. I mean, I've always loved animals and I was like, cool. But it wasn't cool, right? Because of course they don't know, like they don't go outside to poop, right? They're just pooping everywhere. And that's not
Yeah.
okay.
They actually, one of the real main things they have in common with rats, mice, and rats is that they both don't have a bladder, so they pee and poo. Rats 50 times a day, mice less about 20 to 30 times a day. Yeah,
Wow.
they just walk and poop and urinate.
Yeah.
Why, like most of the environments where they are, like in the attic or the crawl space, that's where all these droppings and all this stuff is. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, all this urine that actually gets soaked into the insulation that's up in the attic that they actually use for nesting material it gets saturated, and that's why after 3 months or so, a lot of people start hearing stuff because the
Mhm.
insulation used to be 10 inches, which is for efficiency, for noise, for all that stuff. All of a sudden, it goes down to 2 inches. Now you could actually hear something walking up there.
Mhm.
So it's like everything connects, and yeah, I definitely recommend if you have noises, if you hear noises in the walls or in the attic, there's something in there, living, making
Yeah.
babies, doing
The
stuff.
the only time in my adult life that I had a house in Texas and it was a new build, but they didn't the flashing that they put around the roof line apparently was not strong enough because there was a squirrel or multiple squirrels that like pulled it back and got in the attic, and I would literally be like working during the day and hear something running across the ceiling, and of course called somebody out and they're like, yeah, you've got a squirrel up there. We had to, put like super like metal, thick
Yeah.
durable flashing around the roof line, where the vents were. It was kind of crazy, but
Just so
yeah,
you know, that's not normal, by the way. Like
that's not
squirrels don't
normal.
probably go into the attic. Like that's not their thing. They usually hang out on trees and doing their thing. They don't do that. So that was a very special situation. And every once in a while we have special crazy situations that we see. From rats, like literally you see it in the video. They walk by a trap, they take a rock in the crawl space, they throw it on the trap. The trap goes off. They eat the bait.
Oh my gosh, they're so smart.
So
They're
smart.
so smart. The
They're
only
cool,
okay,
smart stuff.
the only other story I have, and you're in California, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I lived in San Diego for about 8 years, and in San Diego, we had what I was told they called them tree rats,
Yeah.
and we would only see them one time a year when the snails would come, and they would eat the snails. So we would see like the
Skills.
yeah, the shells. I couldn't think. The shells of the snails everywhere because they would come and eat the snails, and that's the only time of year that I ever like. I never really even saw them, other than one time my dog caught one, and she is such a princess. I guess it like wiggled in her mouth, and she screamed and let it go, and then it was like playing dead or whatever, but I knew it was alive. So like I put it in a box, I put it on the front porch, and like by the next morning it was gone. So I just those are my stories about mice and rats.
I want to talk about what you said about the dog bringing it. I'm so glad you brought that up because this is something very, very important and very common for dog owners who do have a rat problem, who do want to take care of the problem without using poison and hurting their pets. And so by using poison, one option is the rat dying in the yard and then the dog going and playing with it and then bringing it to mommy. Okay. And then, God forbid, getting poisoned themselves. And then the second option is that if they don't get to the yard and they somehow die in your walls, that's not good because then, after the flies and the maggots and all this bad smell, you still have a dead carcass in your wall, and that's not good, obviously. So
Yeah.
that's what I have to say about poison. That's one of going back to millions of products out there, and they don't work. They just cause a lot of problems. Like putting out poison could hurt pets, could hurt wildlife, could hurt so many things. And
Yeah.
like, I don't understand why it's being used. I really don't, honestly.
I don't I hear that a lot, that, especially with owls, like mice and
Yes.
owls,
Hmm.
because that's a huge part of an owl's diet, and we're just killing them. We're killing the owls by poisoning the mice. It's really
Eagles, hawks, a lot of them. Telling you, it's no good. It's no good, and it's like, people rush to. Look, I understand nowadays. It's easy. You have a problem, you go online and you find a solution. But it's like all these products are really misleading because, you're setting up poisoning and you're not solving the problem. You're just killing, hopefully killing whatever, you know what I mean. You're hoping to catch or whatever. But even setting traps, you set a trap. By the time you catch one, eight new ones are born. You do that on
Mhm.
a big scale, 1 million homes. Guess what? That's a lot of rats. Like this stuff is not helping. Um,
No.
we actually have very minimal kill rate. Like we'll only trap whatever's left behind. And again, some treatments are done completely humane, and some treatments are done where we seal everything. Obviously, we clean up, we get rid of their scent of direction. Only then we'll chop for anything left behind. And 80% of the time, there's nothing left behind because we're there in the morning. They scatter, they're nocturnal still. So those are the cases. If we're dealing with somebody who's been dealing with rats for, let's say, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, then that's a different situation. Now you're already dealing with removing all the insulation, probably removing kitchen cabinets, removing all the insulation in the crawl space, opening walls, removing installation and infestation in the walls, droppings, urine, all that stuff has to go. Otherwise, you're just gonna attract rats to your house. That
Yeah.
urine, that's the aggression. That's what makes them super aggressive. They'll bite through anything to get back in,
Oh,
or just to get in.
yeah. So what do people do? So you've already started talking about we have to keep the exterior of our home clean. We have to keep the house itself sealed up. Like being in Central Texas really made me hyper aware of sealing the house up because within the first week of being there, after finding 3 or 4 scorpions, I was like, oh heck no. Like, oh heck no.
Yeah.
And we sealed things up. Like I had to get like the little pads that go in between the door and the door frame and like all the things because I was just like, no, these scorpions, I'm not dealing with this. So, can you kind of walk me through outside through to inside? What do we do? What do you do when somebody has a problem? Like how do you handle that?
So, I mean, every house obviously gets inspected very thoroughly. We check the outside, the inside, the attic, the crawl space, closet rooms, water closet rooms, furnace rooms, like all these common areas where rats usually hang out. So that's the first thing is obviously inspecting the property and seeing where we at time wise. How long has it been going on? How long? What's been done? All these little things. Is the insulation infested in one little area? Is it the whole entire attic? And that is only by timing, obviously. So getting into basically doing how we do it. So we look for a lot of different areas, like I said, that are pretty common. So like behind AC, vent covers usually get really old because of the moisture and the sun that hit them regularly. So those will just really get bad after 5, 6, 7 years. And the rats could just come and open that. But like I said, if you don't have a dog or your neighbors don't have a dog, in most cases you're not going to have a problem, really. But if you have a dog or your next door neighbor does have a dog, make sure your house is sealed. We're looking for anything the size of a quarter for rats and a dime for baby mice. Excuse me, for baby rats and for mice. Okay, those are the sizes, and they could squeeze through holes. They could really do wonders. They can climb on anything. They're really really amazing animals, honestly.
Yeah,
Um, but
that
yeah,
those are tiny little. I mean, I'm thinking like they're jello, like a cat is jello. Like if they're getting through, like do they have bones?
exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're able to get through very, very small openings, and people just don't understand how is this even possible. But yeah, they want to get in. And that's the thing. If like you've had that's why, and I'm going to get into how to do this, how to treat a rodent problem in the right order, because a lot of people will do all different stuff from products and stuff, but like they'll seal up the house, right? They'll seal up all the house, and then they have a bunch of rats stuck inside, or they'll excuse me, they just do cleanup and then they won't seal the house, and or they'll seal the house and they won't do cleanup, and it's just a constant, just doing things backwards. People are scared, people are nervous, and they're looking for a solution, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But ideally, the right way is, first of all, to usually do it all in the same day. This is very important. So, like, our treatments are all done in one day. First step is we'll come in, and again, it depending if it's a very big infestation, then we will obviously clean everything up, and all that is part of, the treatment. But if it's for, let's say, less than 4 or 5 months, less than that, then a regular rodent control treatment, gets done to the house, which basically includes sealing up all opening, vent covers, kitchen appliances get pulled out. We need to limit their mobility. Okay. Um, Take, for example, a 1,200 square foot house. 1,200 square foot house, great, nice, not too big, not too small. But because these rats can go through the walls and the crawl spaces, these you could now literally do different calculation as if you're flattening out all your walls, and now you 1,200 square foot space became 10,000 square foot space for them, right? And so they move around, and so part of the treatment is limiting their mobility. So there's different areas in the house that connect certain things. A lot of walls connecting to the kitchen, a lot of vents to the bathroom, to the vent, to the crawl space, to the attic. So we go to these different areas and we limit their mobility. After we limit their mobility, we clean up, get rid of droppings, nesting materials, spray for disease, viruses, rat mites, and of course, our formula, which my dad invented 20 years ago. The pheromone neutralizer is a complete organic. It's completely organic. It's made just of herbs, peppermint, and some other stuff. And basically, that neutralizes their scent. If we don't spray that, we won't give you a lifetime warranty. And we most likely won't do the project because we do the same treatment for every house. And obviously, if I do treatment, you're going to want a lifetime warranty. And so you're going to let me do my thing. Now, it's completely pet safe, it's organic, so there's really nothing to worry about, anyways. Um, and that's what gets done. Now, again, if somebody was to get a hold of this formula, okay, great. They still need to do all three steps, because if you don't, you're back to step one. You got to do it all. And again, the right way is sealing entry points, cleaning up, removing nesting material. Excuse me, removing scent odors, and then trapping whatever's left behind. This is really the three steps. If you do it in this order, you could be very successful in solving the problem. Now,
Mm-hmm.
again, I can't go into every attic and check, but if there's a lot of droppings up there and urine, then that stuff should probably be cleaned up. Not just for health and safety, but also because this is what will attract more and more rats for a 3 mile radius.
Oh wow, 3 miles.
Yeah, you know how they say for humane purposes, you got to take them 3 miles away? It's the same thing, you know?
Interesting. Yeah. I my understanding is that a lot of times we can't get a control on flea problems because of rats in the area too.
Yeah, yeah, I believe it. I
That's
believe
a
it.
that's a tough one, especially like we're recording this like just at the beginning. Like we haven't really even gotten into summer yet, and it's already where I am so bad.
I don't know.
So
Listen, a
bad.
lot of people don't really want to connect the two about different areas and being hot, because obviously some states are a lot more rat infested than others, a lot more. Like here in Southern California, is a bad problem. New York is a bad problem, and again, it's just depending on, I said, what you're giving them, what you're feeding them, what you're laying out, maintenance, like all these things. So some states are better than others, and some are less. But if everybody was to kind of do the same thing, not putting out poison, not setting traps, not doing all that, just like doing the same thing, like we can control this problem. It's
Yeah.
not too late, even though they've been doing poison and trapping for, I don't know, the last 50,000 years.
So, what do like we just what's the goal is to just get them out of neighborhoods, keep them more in like
Keep
forest
them out of the
areas?
house. You gotta limit their space to be able to reproduce. So
Mhm.
imagine, let's take a neighborhood that's got 200 homes, right?
Okay.
40% of those 200 homes probably have a rodent problem or had a rodent problem. Okay, and now you have all these houses that are infested and attracting other rodents. And how are we going to solve it? Think about it. It's very hard. But
Yeah.
if every home, and this is what we try to do, one home at a time, seal, clean, remove scents, do all that stuff. We handle neighborhoods at a time. But again,
Mhm.
we only have so many employees, and
Mhm.
there's only so much we can do. Again, and this treatment is really the way it needs to be done. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that it makes sense. It is a more holistic approach to really just taking pride in your home, taking care of your home, keeping them out
Yeah.
of your property, but without being mean. Because I think a lot back to a long time ago. I used to do TNR for cats, and the whole thing is that if there is a hospitable environment for an animal to live in, they're going to occupy that space to live in it as long as it's hospitable for them.
Very true.
So, having your yard clean. Now, I'm not the kind of like I don't believe in the whole like green patch of grass. Like I think that's a horrible thing for the ecosystem, but that doesn't mean that you can't keep it clean and not have areas of overgrowth and let bushes run wild because those are hot spots.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. All they need is a space. They need a space, and they'll make a home out of it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have
So,
a lot,
okay.
but a lot to work with.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
They'll make a lot out of a little, for sure.
they'll get it anyway.
So, keeping the exterior clean, probably keeping any sort of plant a certain amount, a certain radius from not like actually touching your home, I would imagine is a thing.
Yeah, yeah, and same for trees. I mean, a lot of
Mhm.
people cut trees that are touching the roof or whatever. But again, that's like one of those things where again you're not taking care of the problem.
Mhm.
Also, you're gonna cut the tree. These rats could climb on stucco. They can climb on just about anything.
Mhm.
This tree, actually, the trees are good for, I would say, probably bigger, like squirrels and raccoons, and stopping them from start running on your roof. Not even in your
Mhm.
attic, just on your roof, and waking you up. Um,
Yeah.
so
So, keeping the exterior clean and then picking up after your dog. Patching all of the holes, making sure that there's no way in, and that's going to include, you said, like around any fixtures coming into your appliances, under your sinks,
yeah,
plumbing area. So all of those areas that we may not really think about, that like those are holes that animals could come in. Um, and then having that like organic solution that you talked about, that's going cleaning up. Obviously, if you have an infestation, cleaning up. And then, can you tell me a little bit more? Because I think when we talked, you said obviously you can't be the person to go into everybody's house, but that you have a package that people can buy with the solution and like the instructions for all of the things that you actually need to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Our home defense kit for rats and mice, which me and my dad invented basically, and this is for nationwide. It was originally um, invented because we get a ton of calls, not only from different pest problems, and we have to tell them we only deal with rats and mice, but also from people nationwide wanting this treatment, understanding this treatment. And listen, we've been around for 20 years already, and we have a lot of content up there, and a lot of people know that this is the way to do it, the right way to solve the problem, not just waste time and let it get worse. And that's what we're trying to really, really eliminate. Is the problem getting worse and worse because it's really bad.
Yeah. So where can people? Do you have like more
So the
information
home,
about this on a website or social
so
media?
of
Where can people find
course,
it?
so the home defense kit for rats and mice, you can go onto rodentcontroltoyourdoor.com. A little long, but it's easy to remember. Rodentcontroltoyourdoor.com, and you can get the kit there. The kit is basically for anything you could imagine related to rats. You know, I mean, it's basically our treatment in a box, and it includes pretty much all the supplies you need to seal up entry points. It has a map showing you where most common entry points are. Has a special rodent activity detection light where you can spot different activity. It has scent neutralizers, which you can throw in the attic or in the crawl space. You don't even have to go in there. You just throw it in there. That's going to get rid of their scent. Um, and then, we have a trapping system. Again, this is for anything left behind, just in case. Um, and, those are, easy pre-baited traps that you just put out with these special gloves. So you won't put your scent on the gloves. Also comes with special disposable bags. You could just throw it, seal it, put it in the trash can. No flies, no smell, no worried about when the trash man's going to pick it up. And that kit again, it's basically step by step. It has a whole instruction booklet of what to do, where to use different material, and the material is amazing too. Like this material, like you don't need any tools. It was made for anybody who doesn't want to hire a exterminator, anybody who doesn't really have a lot of skill with tools or whatnot, seniors, and anybody who has a rodent problem. And like I told you, a good 40% of the population. And
That's
so,
amazing.
yeah, so sealing up entry points and just doing following these easy instructions, of where to seal and even the material. Like I said, you don't need tools. Everything is very easy to use. Like a lot of times people thinking, oh, I'm going to seal the house. I'm going to use foam. Foam is messy. It creates a lot of problem. It's really, really hard to use. And you got to be a real pro. And so a lot of people get it on their hands. They can't get it off. So we don't even use the foam in this package or in regular day treatments. We have this special formula that you could literally use without gloves. It doesn't smell. You could put it, seal holes, gaps, under sinks, anything. It hardens up. It's an amazing product. And then of course our weather stripping for garage doors, doors and windows. Those are for like kind of heavy duty infestations. We recommend those. Those are made out of steel wool. So they can't even bite through it. And then
Amazing.
there's different things you could do, like with that special sealer. Like you could, if you have a really bad infestation and they're biting through stuff, and you don't want to start doing the cleanup and all that, you could literally put in like metal objects in there. It's gonna dry up, and then they can't bite through it.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot, but I think that as you just explained, like you have to have this holistic approach for the safety of your home, for the safety of your pets, for the safety of your
Everyone
kids.
and the environment, everyone,
Yeah,
literally. I mean, the pest
yeah,
controller doesn't want poison. They
yeah,
don't want chemicals. They want people doing IPM, integrated pest management. That's what they want people doing. Because all that other stuff is really, really bad. And eventually it's going to have to stop. Like all these suppliers selling stuff, they're going to have to stop selling it because it's just making the problem worse.
yeah.
Sorry to
It
say, but
does.
that is the truth.
Yeah, it does. It makes the problem worse because, again, going back to it's still a hospitable environment. More are going to come,
Yeah.
and um, but then it's also damaging to the environment. It's damaging
How?
to like
What
all the
about the damages
downstream.
they cause? There's
Mm.
$20 billion a year just in rat damages in the United States. You know,
Wow.
number one damage is electricity wires. They chew wires and then they cause fires. And then
Mm.
you have the rest of the stuff like insulation that gets damaged. So attic insulation, cross space insulation, wall insulation. So no efficient, all these things. Then air ducts that get chewed through. That's your air conditioning heating, which a lot of people don't even know. Sometimes they'll chew through one simple room, your baby's room maybe, or your grandma's room, whatever, that particular duct that nobody knows because nobody goes up to the attic is has been chewed through, has been entered through, peed and defecated in, and now they're breathing this. And now all of a sudden they're developing problems. Nobody knows nothing. They go to the doctor, medicine. No, again, not addressing the problem itself.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's just so many different connections, and
Mhm. I just because you told me that my squirrel problem was so rare, I just want to say I had another squirrel problem because you were talking about chewing through wires. I had also, while I was in Texas, I had a squirrel chew through the hose for my windshield washer fluid on my car.
yeah, very common. Very common. I'm
I'm just
laughing at this because a lot of people cry to me.
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just like I apparently have bad. I love squirrels. They're so cute, but I apparently have bad luck with squirrels.
Yeah, so we're talking about the cars. We obviously get a lot of calls about their cars getting affected. So if the car is actually in a garage and you're having a problem, then yeah, obviously you got to take care of your problem, and then they won't go into your car. If your car is parked outside, there's not much you can do except there's there's a trick you can use, which is these dryer vent papers for
Hmm.
that smell good. What do you call those?
The dryer sheets.
Yeah, yeah, the dryer sheets. So you put that like not in the in the engine, but like right there where it's safe, and they some for some reason don't come to it.
Oh, interesting. That would be
Yeah,
the only use case I don't use those. That's
yeah,
terrible, terrible stuff for the environment. I wouldn't use it, but maybe that's a use case for it.
probably. I mean,
Yeah,
different things have
yeah.
different things. Like those bubbles that used to be wall coverings. Who knew?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
True. I know there's so many things. So
Play-Doh
many.
used to be something. It was an accident that it became a kid's game. Like it was for something else.
Oh,
A lot of things.
interesting. Yeah. Well, David, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you telling us about this and actually breaking down like a holistic approach to caring for your property that's going to help our pets, and keep us all healthy. So I appreciate that. And guys, check the show notes for all of the links for David and for the just to get more information if you want to order the kit, if you happen to have a problem at your house. Apparently 40% of you do. So
Yeah. I mean, think how many dog owners there is.
yeah. Well, of course, you
Huh?
said that's what you said pretty much. You're going to be either you're going to be a dog owner or your neighbor's going to be a dog owner, and that's where
That's
the
exactly.
issue lies. So it's a super relevant topic. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you helping us out to figure it out.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
Of course, you have a great rest of your day, guys. Please um, give the show a follow if you haven't already. Rate the show. I would very, very much appreciate it. And give your pets some extra love from me and from David today. And I will talk to you next week. Before you go, if today's episode got you thinking about what's really going on beneath the surface for your pet, don't forget to check out wildwellnesspet.com. You'll find the Wild Wellness Bioenergetic Test to help uncover hidden stressors, plus a curated apothecary of holistic remedies to support true root cause healing. Visit wildwellnesspet.com to start building a calmer, more vibrant pet from the inside out.